Well, hello, and welcome to Coffee and Conversation with Lara. How are you all doing? Who is joining me today? Come on in, come on in. Come on in and introduce yourself. Introduce yourself and let me know where you're joining in from and what platform you're joining me from. Is it on my YouTube channel? Is it on the Facebook page? Or is it on LinkedIn? I would like to know. Come on in now. Okay. Hello. I'm keen to know where you're joining in from as I set up and invite your sister, because that is what I'm doing. Invite your friend, invite everybody you know to join this podcast this afternoon. Allow me to do the same. Allow me to do the same. Here we are. Here we are. We have about 2 more minutes before we start, but let's use this opportunity to get ourselves. Oh, by the way, bring your coffee because this is coffee and conversation. So I need to see your coffee, your cup of coffee, or your tea, or your water, or your drink of choice, wherever your drink of choice is. Bring it along so that you can hydrate and converse and hold the conversation at the same time. I want this to be interactive, okay? So I don't want to be talking at you. I want us to share our thoughts on the idea of identity, self-concept, and self-leadership. I want to I want us to explore these three subjects and show us how they all integrate, how they all link into one another, and why you need to be strong in each of them in order for you to succeed in what you are trying to achieve. If you're on, just say hello, say something, type something in the comment section that will help me to know who you are, because obviously you can see me, but I can't see you. But if you type something in the comment section, if you say hello, just say hello, Lara, and let me know if you have your coffee with you, or if you have your tea with you, or what your drink of choice is. I would like to know. So let's just interact. Okay. Identity, self-concept, and personal leadership, self-leadership. Why it is so important to get these, to get a handle on all these three. Right? So crucially important. I am seeing that people are joining, but I can't see you typing anything. Write something in the comment section, please. Introduce yourself. I'd like to know who you are. Introduce yourself to me, please. And oh, by the way, if I'm sniffling, it's because that hay fever is hay fevering, okay? The hay fever decided to come on today that I have my podcast. But you know how it is. We don't pay mind to that. We rise above it and we do what we need to do. But just so you know, if you see me sniffling or wiping my nose every now and again, it's the hay fever. And I've taken my antihistamine this morning, but yeah. So who else is joining me today? If you can type something in the comment section and I can see you and I can say hello back. Let's say hello to one another. And please invite your friends. Invite everybody, every leader that you know, every entrepreneur that you know. Invite them to join us this morning or this afternoon or this evening, depending on where you are logging in from. I'm here in the UK and it is the afternoon. So let me know where you're logging in from and what time it is where you are. Right. Let's make a start. So I have my note here to this side. So if I'm looking to this side, I'm looking at my notes, okay? My prompt. So I've written some notes for myself to prompt me about what I need to talk about. Okay, so that is what I'm doing. And today, as entrepreneurs, I want us to explore the concept of identity, self-concept, and personal leadership. Identity, self-concept, and personal leadership. And we're going to be going over them, each one of them, one after the other today. And talking about that, it's not about strategy. I'm a strategy girl. I like to plan. I like to strategize. I like things to be in place. I like to build systems. But that's not what we're talking about this afternoon. We're not talking about even productivity systems. As I said, we're not talking about how you scale or anything like that. We are talking about the foundation beneath all of that. I want us to have a conversation about the foundation beneath all of that, because here's what I know. Here is what I know. After working with a lot of high achieving women, entrepreneurs and professional women, I've found that your next level is not blocked by lack of intelligence. It's not because these women don't have intelligence or anything like that. It's not blocked because they are not competent, or because they don't have ambition. Their issue is um, identity. Identity. It is very easy to identify ourselves by the roles that we play, because we play these roles on a daily basis. Okay, especially as a woman, you are a mother, you are a wife or a partner, you are a business owner, you are an aunt, you are a daughter, you are juggling quite a lot of roles. So it's easy to identify yourself by what you do. It's easy to identify yourself by, oh, I'm a CEO, or I'm a director of something or other, and you do these roles really, really well. But unfortunately, you have identified yourself by those things. That is how we see you. But the question I want you to ask yourself is, if we were to strip you of all of those roles, everything that you do, and every relationship that you have, if we were to strip you of them, then who are you? Who are you? What's your identity then? Because it's when you get this down properly, then you can bring all of who you are into the roles you play, and there will be a congruence. There will be it will be seamless, and it will be effortless for you to lead from who you are. So the whole idea of uh, today's live is for you to know who you are, to lead from the core of who you are, rather than lead from who the roles that you are playing, because the role can change at any time. Life is very, very dynamic. It's not straightforward. It changes every now and again. Today you are a wife, there is no guarantee that you're going to be a wife in the next 10 years. Today you are a daughter. Our parents grow old and they leave us, and they're gone. So who are you? who are you really? It's important for you to lead from your identity, from the core of who you are, and this is what I call the inner foundation. As I said, I have my notes beside me here, so I'm going to be looking to the side, just to prompt me on what I need to talk about. And also, it's a conversation. Please, I want to see your I want to see your perspectives as well. Please answer me, type in the comment section. It doesn't matter what platform you're using. I will say, if you are on LinkedIn, if you are on YouTube, if you're on Facebook, I will still see your comments. Okay, I will still see your comments. So I want to see your comments. That how do you see the issue of identity? How does that affect you? Talk to me. So because the your identity, self-concept, and personal leadership, these are the instruments, if you like, or the ingredients that form the your inner foundation, the inner foundation of who you are. If the inner foundation is unstable, there is no external success that will feel secure. So we need to get the inner foundation right first. So if the inner foundation is not successful, if it's not solid, if it's unstable, no external success will feel secure. Okay, we've seen people, mask their lack of understanding their identity with high achieving roles. You do your roles well, you mask it with success, with business, but you are struggling. You're still struggling. If that is you, say something in the comment section, that if you still struggle, like it feels to you on the inside that something is not aligning, something is missing. You are hitting all your marks, you are hitting all your goals, you are achieving everything. You are ambitious, right? You're ambitious, you have the zeal, you have the passion, you have the fire, but there's something is still not sitting well. That is because we need to deal with the inner foundation. That is because we need to deal with the core of who you are. You're not leading from the core of who you are. You're achieving. It's superficial, but it doesn't. It has no depth. And if something has no depth, it doesn't have longevity. Okay, so I want you to consider a question. I pose that question to say, if you were to be stripped away from your all of your accolades and your achievements and all of that, who are you then? Who do we have when we have you? Because identity is not what you do. Okay, identity is who you are at your core. It's who you are at your core, without the achievements or anything. It's who you are at your core. And many high performing women built their identity around competence. So this is not to say that you should not be competent. Of course, you absolutely have to be competent, but you'll be even more competent when you understand your identity and you are leading from your core. Okay. Um, it, this is when you find most women, they become the responsible ones, the steady hand. They're the strong one. They are strong. They can handle it. They can handle all the interruptions and intersections that come into their lives. That the dependable one, you can depend on her. She's your girl. You can depend on her. You can just go to her and ask for anything, and she will do it. And she's the high capacity one. This is one of the reasons, the main reasons why most women burn out. Let me give you an example of something that happened to me and how I dealt with it. Okay, like I said, you can't lead from what people expect of you, or from the tasks or the things that you need to do. You have to lead from who you are. So somebody approached me and said that there was an emergency. Well, it wasn't an emergency, but they were going through a crisis here. That's what there was a health crisis in the family. Okay, and it's urgent and things like that. So the way they came to me with that statement that they've given me with that information, it's really hysteric, it's really urgent, it's really, and I am already emotionally invested in this family. Okay, but if and I have other things to do, so the expectation in that time was for me to drop everything that I was doing and then attend to their own issue. I had to pause and remind myself. So when you hear something, when somebody brings an information to you that is so urgent or that is so just come, just do it, that they're hysteric about it, I want you to give yourself a few seconds, 5 seconds, to pause and take in what they are saying to you and where you are in terms of that thing, what you are able to do. So I had to go into my inner self. Who am I in this moment, in this particular circumstance? Who am I? Okay, even if I dropped everything that I was supposed to do and go be with them, what what impact would I make? How impactful would I be for them? What would be the benefit other than to just stay there and be there and show my presence as as a support? And I had to say to them, no, I can't. Okay, because everybody's, what is crisis to everybody doesn't have to be a crisis to you. It doesn't mean that you cannot support, but it means that you can support from who you are. So I have to dig in and offer alternatives of how I could support, but I could not drop everything I was doing to go be with them. Okay, so if you're leading a business, or you're running a business, you're an entrepreneur, or you're at a C-suite level at your organization, you are leading people. You need to get this really, you need to get it clear that you somebody else's emergency doesn't have to be your own emergency. Okay, that is understanding who you are, understanding your identity. You are not, even though you are reliable, they can rely on, they can come to you for anything or everything, but there needs to be some boundaries. Okay, there needs to be some boundaries, and there needs to be, you need to lead from the position of strength where you can be more beneficial to them. Because if I had gone, as I said, if I had gone with them, I wouldn't be any I would just be standing there, just supporting with my silence. Okay, so somewhere along the way, where you are the dependable and everything one, um your performance becomes proof of your worth. This is how people appraise you. This is how they esteem you. But there's still no congruence. There is a deficiency in what you need to achieve for your own self. You're not achieving what you need to achieve, because you're rather than building yourself up, you deign yourself and you go and serve other people's objectives. And when they finish with you, they will move along. It's not that they don't like you, it's just that what they need from you is done in that moment. Meanwhile, there's a deficiency. You're deficient in doing what you needed to do for your own self. How then can you grow? But when you lead from the core of who you are, people can actually learn from you. Okay, they can learn from you. It doesn't mean that you should retrieve from everybody or take your hands off, but there needs to be a balance. Okay, and you need to draw the right balance and the right parameters, the right boundaries. Okay, so now when you're like that to when you're like that to everybody, like you're dependent, you're reliable, and all of that, they tell you at work, they tell you this is urgent, you must deliver by close of play today, and somebody else comes and gives you something else that is also urgent, that you must deliver by close of play today. Everything, you have like 3 tasks assigned to you, that the deadline is close of play today. How do you manage that? So now rest feels uncomfortable. You can't rest. You can't slow down, because then that's unsafe. If you slow down, you might drop a ball, and you begin to make mistakes, and you feel threatened. And in some cases, you can't even delegate, because you just have to make sure that you do everything right, to do everything correct. Because if your value is tied to performance, this is where I'm going. If your value is tied to performance, then performance must never drop. You have to keep performing. That's exhausting leadership. You can't, it's not sustainable. It is not sustainable. You can only lead like that for so long before you burn out, before you crash out. Okay, it's not sustainable. It is exhausting. It's not only exhausting, it is fragile leadership. It is what I call fragile leadership. Okay, so true personal leadership begins when your identity is not dependent on your output. Who you are is not dependent on your performance, it's not dependent on your output. Okay, when you are no longer leading to prove something, you begin to lead from conviction. That is a completely different energy. You need to learn to lead from conviction, not to prove anything to anybody. Okay, so I want you to ask yourself these questions. If you're getting anything from this, I would like to see your comments. I want to ask you this question. I want to ask yourself this question. Where has my identity become fused with my achievements? Pause and reflect on that. Where has my identity become fused with my achievements? Where do you get those two confused? And let me tell you, not everybody is perfect. Okay, we're not all perfect. In fact, I'll go as far as to say nobody is perfect. Every now and again, we get ourselves, especially if you're so ambitious and you have so much zeal for what you are doing. There are times that you may get those two confused, but it's always good to pause every now and again, like now, to look at it, appraise it, and say, where do I get those two confused? My identity and my achievements, where do they fuse? Okay, because when you can identify where the fuse is, where they merge, then you can begin to do the separation. Okay, another question I want you to ask yourself is, who am I trying to prove something to? Who are you trying to impress? Of course, at work, we need to impress our senior colleagues. Okay, we need to impress them and things like that. But again, I'm talking about balance. What you are doing, are you doing what you are doing just to show off, so that other people can know that you can do this, you can achieve this? Or who are you trying to impress? Are you trying to impress your own self? Are you trying to compete with other people? I want you to pause and think about that. Are you trying to do are you basing your achievement, the marker of your achievement, on so that other people can see that you can do it? Think about that. And the last question I want you to ask yourself is, what would leadership feel like if I don't need validation? What would it feel like to you? What would leadership look like? What would it feel like to you if you don't need validation from anybody? If you are leading from your core, the core of who you are, that inevitably will bring you success, because then you are being authentic, because then we know that when we come to you, this is what we get, because then we know that when we come to you, you are constant, because this is who you are. You are leading from the core of who you are. You have your values, you have your principles, okay, and you are bringing this to everything that you do. So if you don't need anybody to validate you, what would leadership look like to you? I want you to pause and think about that. And also, please engage with me. Write in the comment section. I want to see, I want to learn from you too. I want to see your perspective, especially this particular question. If I don't need validation from anybody, right? What would leadership look? How would I lead? What would it feel like or look like to me? Okay, right. So that is that about identity. Now, I want to talk about self-concept, which I call the invisible ceiling. So now that we've got down our core values, our identity, we know who we are, we know that we are leading from the core of who we are. We're not borrowing other people's validation. We don't need anybody to validate us, but we do what we do, and when, from the core of who we are, and when we are authentic and original and consistent, we get affirmed, right? People see what we do and they appreciate that and they affirm that. Right. But then let's talk about the self concept. This is a topic that I find that is not really talked about a lot, and it links with the identity, by the way. It stems actually from that. It's self concept is what I call the invisible ceiling. Okay. Your identity is who you are, but your self concept is what you believe is normal for you. That's the difference. Your identity is who you are. You will know about your values, your principles, and things like that. But your self concept is what you believe is available to you, is accessible to you, is accessible to you. Okay, what is normal for you to do, and your self concept governs, for example, your income level, your visibility comfort, your relationship standards, your negotiation confidence, and your tolerance level. How you negotiate, how you what you tolerate, what is acceptable to you and not or not acceptable to you. Okay, because this is because you can never outperform your self concept sustainably. You can override it temporarily, but you will always return to what feels normal to you. This is why I say be authentic, just be original, lead from who you are. You can never, ever sustainably outperform your self concept. Okay. This is where I've seen examples of where some women that I consider brilliant, they underprice themselves. They hesitate to speak in executive rooms. They delay launching their products or services. Ultimately, they self sabotage. They self sabotage during growth seasons. They sabotage themselves. And you find it is not a capability issue. It's not that they're not capable. It's a self concept issue. They're quite capable, but it's they underprice themselves, because they don't believe that a certain price is what they deserve, that or what their talent, their skills, their time, their effort, and the value that they're providing, they don't see themselves that it should be priced at this level, so they bring themselves to this level, to a lower level. They underprice themselves. Okay, and let me give you an example. If deep down you see yourself as I'm still figuring it out, then even if you are objectively qualified, you will defer. If you're still saying to yourself, I'm still figuring it out, so I'll just deign myself, I'll just lower myself, you know, you will always defer. That is why you find most women defer. They wait, they delay, they procrastinate, right? They procrastinate. They don't start when they're supposed to start. They're waiting to figure it all out. It has to be perfect. All the I's have to be dotted and all the T's have to be crossed. All the T's have to be crossed. Everything has to be in place. It is a self-concept issue. And if you see yourself as I'm not naturally confident, you will hesitate in decisive moments. You tell yourself, I'm not naturally confident. We all get nervous. Everybody gets nervous. Okay. There is nobody that is always brave all the time. There are times that you get nervous. Embrace it. Just focus on what you need to do and make the decision that you need to make. And don't be afraid that you will get it wrong, because chances are that you will, but chances are that you won't, right? So it's a self-concept issue. This is where people feel like they're not confident all the time, they're not brave all the time. You're not always going to be confident. Not everybody is confident all the time. We all have our moments of weakness, right? So don't allow that to rob you in of making decisive decisions at the time that you need to. And if you see yourself as I'm too emotional, you will suppress your intuition. Now, we can talk about intuition. Intuition is something that is it's one of your superpowers, right? It is actually one of your strategic advantages. You follow your intuition. Don't label yourself, oh, I'm just too emotional. Maybe I'm looking at this from emotional perspective. I'm not saying be weak or whatever, or don't apply logic. But where your intuition is telling you something about a decision that you need to make, or about the direction that your business should go, lean into it. At least lean into that and make decision when you need to make a decision. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Don't wait for anybody to validate you, because there are chances that people will not even validate you. This is especially if the buck stops with you. You are the one who needs to make a decision about this thing. Go ahead and make the decision. I'm not saying don't check in with other people. Don't seek counsel, or don't seek advice or whatever. It is always good to do that. In the multitude of counselors, there is wisdom. Yes. Okay. So we need that, or there is safety. So we need to do that. But don't tell yourself, I am too emotional. Don't cross that out. I'm so passionate about that. I can't overstress it. I can't stress it enough, that your intuition is one of your superpowers. It's one of your strategic powers. Lean into it, explore it, and see where it takes you. Right? Okay. So your self-concept sets the thermostat for your life. You rise, you expand, and you achieve. Right? Your self-concept is important. It sets the ceiling. If you go into an organization, or into an environment, if it's your business or whatever it is you're trying to achieve, and they set the limit for you, do you then accept that is my limit, or do you smash that ceiling, right, and create your own ceiling? It's important. Only you can do that. Nobody can do that for you. Only you can do that. And you can do that by understanding your identity, by understanding who you are, by understanding what is acceptable to you, what is available to you, what is achievable for you. And you are pushing, you are not stopping. Okay. But if that exceeds your internal normal, you unconsciously recalibrate downward. This is why identity work is not motivational work, it is a structural work. If you are always recalibrating down, you are scaling down all the time, you're just to conform with what is being presented to you, rather than pushing through and breaking through. Press in and see where you know your own vision, you know your own power, you know your strength, right? You know what you see. Only you can see what you see on the inside. Nobody else can see it, in terms of your vision, in terms of where you need to go, in terms of your aspirations, right? Believe in that and lean into your intuition. Don't wait for anybody to tell you this is what you can do, and this is what you cannot do. Right. Let's do this. Let me ask you these questions. Okay. I want you to write this down. What level of income currently feels safe to me? Ask yourself that. What level of income currently feels safe to me? And when we come to talking about income, this is where a lot of women shrink back. You want to be humble. You don't want to be materialistic. You don't want people to think that, oh, it's all about money. You are just all about money, but you should be about serving. That is a way of chipping off of you what should be acceptable to you, what is available to you, your self-concept. Do you think that without being I'm not talking about taking it completely out of control. But I want you to consider: do I deserve this? What level of income feels safe to me? Is acceptable to my vision, to my plans, to where I'm going? What level of visibility feels slightly uncomfortable? Okay, because you see, this is the thing about spotlight. This is the thing about visibility. It attracts everything, including the moths. It'll attract all kinds of problematic things. So just think about it. What level of visibility feels uncomfortable for me? And the third question I want you to ask yourself: what level of influence feels intimidating? What level of influence feels intimidating? Now, once you've asked these questions, ask yourself why. Ask yourself why to these three questions. Why? What level of income currently feels safe to me? Why? Once you get the answer, why? Why is the answer. What level of visibility feels uncomfortable? Why? Why does that? Why is that so? And what level of influence feels intimidating to me? Again, why? Why are you intimidated? Because that why reveals your current ceiling. It reveals your current ceiling, your current limit, right? It it's an exercise I want you to go away and do. So this is free coaching, no charges. I hope you got those three questions right. I hope you got them down, and then ask yourself why, and then go and reflect on the why, and it will reveal to you your current ceiling, where you currently are. Okay, so as a businesswoman, or as a professional woman in a corporate environment, as a leader, dare I say, as a homemaker, leader at home, your self concept is crucially important. You cannot go beyond the ceiling that you have set for yourself, or the ceiling that you allow other people to set for you. When ceilings are set for you, your job is to smash that ceiling. Okay, as to make sure that you are leading from your core, the core of who you are. You are coming on authentically. Okay, and when you know that you have outgrown a certain space, don't be afraid to leave. Just because that is their own limit doesn't have to be your own limit. Don't be afraid to move. If you've out Look, there's so many opportunities for you, so many opportunities for you. There is no reason for you to stay put in a place where the ceiling is set, and you can't find your way beyond that. Okay, so once you understand those three questions, the whys to those three questions, it will reveal your current ceiling, and then you can begin to work on pushing it higher, if that is what you want to do. Great. So the third point that I want to talk about today is a personal leadership, governing yourself first. Okay. And I know that many of you are coming in and you are leaving because you are expecting my guest. I did advertise this. I did promote this podcast today to say that I will have a guest with me, but unfortunately she couldn't be with me today. So we're going to be looking at hopefully bringing her on another podcast. But unfortunately today she couldn't come. She didn't come on this particular broadcast today. We just have to hope that we'll be able to get her on. But we keep it pushing anyway. We do what we need to do anyway. Okay. So the third point, so we've done identity, we've done self-concept, and the third point is personal leadership, governing yourself first, because it's crucially important that you govern yourself first. And you know how to govern yourself first before you can govern others. You know how to lead yourself first before you can lead others. You make a fantastic leader when you are able to lead yourself properly. Before you lead your teams, your clients, the board, or a movement, you're part of any movement, whatever it is that you're doing, you must be able to lead yourself first. So personal leadership, as I said, is self-governing. It's just how you govern yourself. It includes your emotional regulation without suppression. It's important that I started to say, I said regulation, emotional regulation without suppression, without suppressing how you feel. Okay, so don't it doesn't mean that repress your feelings, don't say how you feel or whatever, but it's about regulating it. It's about how you say things. Okay, because it is possible for you to disagree with a concept. It is possible for you to disagree with a behavior. It is possible for you to disagree with something without being aggressive, or without saying inflammable words, or without saying anything that will make the matter worse. Okay. So it's emotional. You have to get that down as a leader. You have to get your emotional regulations on point. And that is without suppressing how you feel. It's about being able to communicate, express yourself, articulate yourself in a professional and intelligent manner without causing offense. And I said causing offense. Bear in mind that you are not necessarily responsible for how people receive the information that you give, because that's another side of it. This is why I said don't suppress how you feel. Well, you have articulated yourself, you have expressed yourself, but it is up to that person now to regulate their own emotion as well. You can't regulate your own emotion and that person's emotions at the same time. They have to take responsibility for how they receive what you have said. Okay, so don't be frightened. There is a balance to this, and if this is something that you would like to explore more, I'd be happy to explore it with you. Just DM me or send me an email at hello@laraakinyola.com, and I'd be happy to work with you on that. It is possible for you to express yourself. It is possible for you to articulate how you feel without taking responsibility for how the recipient receive what you have said. Okay, so self leadership is that. It also includes decision making that aligns with your values. That you have to be able to make decisions. To if you are leading teams, right, you are leading a department, you are leading your clients, you are leading wherever it is that you're leading, it has to be very, very obvious that your decisions are aligned with your values. And this is why when you go to many organizations, or most organizations even, you find that they have their values written down already, and it will be part of your induction. When you join the organization, they will articulate what their values are to you. Okay, because they operate from those values, not outside of them. So as a leader, you have to be able to make your decisions based that aligns with your values as well. Okay, so it also include leading yourself. Self leadership also includes boundaries enforced without apology. Now, um, as a recovering people pleaser, this is how I say it. I'm a recovering people pleaser, but I'm recovering very fast. I'll tell you that. I like to please people. And when I put boundaries in place, I apologize for it, or I'm sorry, or I'm reluctant. Nobody will take you seriously. They won't take you seriously if you are sorry because of the boundaries that you have set. Your boundaries are your boundaries. They are non-negotiable. It's not up to discussion. It's not up for debate. We're not debating it. These are just your boundaries. Okay, you have to be confident enough to assert your boundaries, and it is up to that person to decide whether they want to respect your boundaries or whether they want to disrespect your boundaries. And then obviously you can take it from there, right? So you can't lead people successfully if you don't have boundaries, or if you can't lead yourself even successfully. Never mind leading others if you can't enforce your boundaries without saying sorry, without apologizing, or without negotiation. There are some things that you can't negotiate on them. They just are what they are. You can't negotiate on them. Okay. Crucially important, as a leader, you must understand this. This is how you lead yourself first. And it applies to yourself also, not just to others. The boundaries that you've put in place are the boundaries that you have put in place that even you yourself must abide by, right? They are your boundaries, okay? And when you don't violate your own boundaries, then it'll be easy for other people to not want to violate the boundaries that you have set, because then they will respect you, they will respect it, they will respect this is okay, this is who this person is, this is what she doesn't allow, this is what she doesn't accept, and this is what she accepts, and then it'll be clearer. And the last point I want to talk about personal leadership is standards maintained without aggression. You can maintain your standards, set your standards. Like I said, it's actually it relates to, similar to boundaries, but then you have your standards. This is your standard. Again, they are non-negotiable. They are what they are. But you can set your standards without aggression. Okay, you just need to be firm. You need to be firm. You need to communicate it clearly. And when somebody decides to violate your standard, at least you know that they are making a concerted effort, intentional efforts to do that, to violate your standard. And that is outright disrespect. That can be addressed separately, properly, appropriately. Okay. Here is what I often see. I often see this. A woman wants expansion. Okay. She wants expansion, but internally she's fragmented. One part of her wants visibility, but the other part of her fears criticism. That's fragmentation. You're fragmented. Okay. You want visibility, but you fear criticism. That is inevitable. Criticism is inevitable where you want to be visible. Some people will criticize you constructively. It will be constructive criticism to give you feedback that you can take and use and improve yourself, okay, and improve your business and improve on what you are doing. But you cannot also run away from the fact that some people will just be malicious, which you are not responsible for their behavior. If somebody wants to be malicious, that's on them. That's what they want to do. So they can deal with it. But you are not going to focus on somebody who is being malicious. But you're going to focus on the positive criticism, or on the constructive criticism that you can use to improve yourself. It's a feedback. See it as a feedback. So you want visibility, but you fear criticism. You need to go work on that. Or you want wealth, but you fear judgment. It's not going to work. You will be judged. You will be misjudged. People will cast judgment on you. They will cast doubt on what you are doing. How come she's doing this? How come she's doing that? Get comfortable with that. Get comfortable with the judgments. It's all part and parcel of the whole process. Okay. One part of you wants influence, but the other part of you fears being misunderstood. Well, hello. You will be misunderstood. You will be misunderstood. Okay. You can't influence, because the people you're trying to influence have their own opinion as well, right? The best you can do is to try and explain yourself as clearly as possible. Be articulate. Okay, articulate what you need them to do, right? How you want to influence their decisions, because that's what being an influencer means. You are influencing people's decisions and their behaviors. But there will be times when, so you'll find some people judging you there. Who does she think she is? Does she think she's better than all of us, the rest of us? Get comfortable with it, because it's just part and parcel of your growth. Okay, because if you don't, then you oscillate. You start vacillating. You can't be consistent. You push, then you retreat. You expand, then you withdraw. You are strong today, you are weak tomorrow. You are brave today, you are timid tomorrow. We don't even know who you are. We can't place you down. You need to be comfortable with all of this. Don't be fragmentation. That inconsistency is not lack of discipline, it is identity fragmentation. It is identity fragmentation. If your identity is fragmented and you are not comfortable with who you are, your self concept, and don't know how to govern your own self, you will be fragmented. And even if you are making some kind of success, it is superficial because it's not built on anything solid, and it is only a matter of time before it comes crashing down. So I want you to pay attention to these. Pay attention to these things. Again, as I said, if you would like me, if you want to talk to me, if you'd like to talk to me about any of these, I'm available. Hop on a call with you, and we can talk about how I can help you. Okay. So leadership becomes exhausting when you are negotiating with yourself daily. You wake up every day, you don't even know who you are going to be today, or your decision about who you are, your identity is being informed by the external circumstances, by external situations, things that are happening to you, some things that you don't even have control over, but you're allowing those to inform who you are. You need to think about that. Integrated leadership is powerful because it is congruent. And congruence in this context means your values, your beliefs, your identity, and your behavior, they all align. They all align. Okay. So you need to be congruent. You need, if you want to talk about integrated leadership, I'll be happy to talk about that with you. Integrated leadership, it is powerful because it is congruent. And when you are congruent, your presence changes. The way you present yourself changes. You do not need to dominate. Some people just feel like they need to do you know when you're in a meeting, have you ever been in a meeting or in a discussion, any kind of discussion, and somebody wants to, they just want to talk all the time, they want to dominate the discussion, they want to dominate the conversation, they don't want to dominate the meeting. It's because they lack self leadership. They're not able to lead themselves properly, so they need to artificially raise their voice and create that kind of scene and want to dominate. It's all surface level. There is no depth to it at all. It's all surface level. So you don't need to dominate, you don't need to over explain anything, you don't need to prove anything. You are internally settled, and that stability is magnetic. When you're stable like that, you actually attract people a lot more, because like I said earlier on, they know what they get when they get you. You're authentic, you're settled on the inside, they know what they get, and that is why you attract them. That's why they're attracted to you. They know who to come to when they need something. So you need to learn how to just be settled internally and be governed, and your values, your beliefs, and all of these are aligned, and you are stable, and that stability is magnetic. It's not only magnetic, it's one of your strategic powers. Okay, it's one of your strategic powers to attract the right people. Another thing you don't want to do is you don't want to attract everybody. You want to attract the right people to you, people whose values will align with your own values, and you'll be able to work well, properly, with less friction if you are working with people whose values are aligned with yours. These are signs. These are some of the signs that you are leading from misalignment. Okay. And let us all be honest with ourselves here. Like I said, we're not perfect all the time, but wherever you see, I'm going to mention a few points here. I want you to note down which one resonates with you, so that you can learn to, at least now that you know that it resonates with you, then you can learn to improve on it. Okay. Chronic overwork. How many hours a day do you work? Do you take breaks? Do you go for walks? Especially for those of us who work from home, it's very easy to work silly hours. Silly hours because you are working from home. You wake up, as soon as you wake up, you know, the first thing you do is you go to your laptop, you begin to work, and you work late. Chronic overwork. You don't have any governance, you don't have any rules around how you work. You haven't drawn any parameters. The other point is difficulty delegating. Do you have difficulty in delegating to people? Think about that. Or do you feel like you have to do everything all by yourself? Because if you don't do it, it won't be perfect, it won't be right. Do you have difficulty delegating? Or hyper independence? You don't need anybody, you are so independent. Or resentment toward less qualified but more confident peers? Do you have a secret resentment for those you perceive to be less qualified than you, and they are more confident than you? Maybe they're objectively less qualified in terms of academic qualifications and experiences and things like that, but they are more confident. One day I'm going to talk about confidence, how even if you are wrong, you can be confidently wrong, and what that means. Okay. So, or another point is emotional reactivity in high pressure situation. Do you react emotionally in a high pressure environment, in a high pressure situation? How do you handle high pressure situations? Or when somebody else, if you're involved in a particular case, in a particular situation where somebody else, other people are being emotional, are being, hysterical about the thing, how do you handle that? Do you get, how do you react emotionally? How do you react? How do you handle it? Do you get emotional as well, or do you take control and bring everybody's focus back on the topic, on the issue that you're trying to address? And the last one is inability to celebrate wins. You can't celebrate your own win. You can't celebrate other people's wins. You can't celebrate your team's win. You trivialize everything. Everything is too small. You wait until you achieve the big ones, the big goals before you celebrate. I want you to pay attention to that, because it is important that you celebrate every little win, your own win, your team's win, your client's win, everybody's win. Whatever you do that you were able to carry over the line, and you were able to achieve that small thing, even if it's only a clap, even if it's only a fist bump, whatever it is, do something that demonstrates that you celebrate that win. Okay? There is no win that is too small to celebrate. There is no achievement that is too small, that is too little to celebrate. Okay? So make sure that you do that. And the people that you lead will appreciate that. Even you yourself will appreciate it. Celebrate yourself. Maybe it's something that you've been trying to do for a while that you haven't been able to get down, but eventually you were able to achieve that thing. You set yourself the goals, and you were able to hit that goal. You're able to hit that target. Celebrate it. Do something. Buy yourself a pair of shoes to mark it. Buy yourself a pair of shoes, or do something. Take yourself to a restaurant, a nice restaurant. Do something to celebrate it, okay? Or have a luxury bath soak, to celebrate that win. It is really, really important. And I want to talk about, as we're winding now, I want to talk about identity upgrade process. How will you recalibrate? Okay, if you feel like you're falling short in any one of the points that I've raised, how you can recalibrate, let's talk about that, because awareness without action changes nothing. Just because you are aware of it, if you don't change it, it doesn't mean anything. It will just still remain how it is or what it is. So audit your language, your identity language. Audit the way you speak about yourself, especially the things that you repeatedly say about yourself. I am not consistent. I am not confident. I overthink. I struggle with this. I struggle with visibility. I'm not able to do that. It's not my kind of scene. You know, those things that we say to ourselves, that they're not personality traits. You know, we like to think that it's just the way I am. No, they're not personality traits, they are identity declarations. Okay. And your nervous system organizes your behavior around your identity. So you can begin to say, the opposite to yourself. Affirm yourself. I can do this. I've got this. Even if it's challenging, especially when it's challenging, tell yourself that you are bigger than this challenge. You can scale it. You can do this. I can do this. I've got this. You know, and you'll find that you actually do it. So change the identity and the behavior follows. It's just as simple as that. The second thing is define who you are becoming. So let's say at the beginning of this year, I mean, obviously we are in the second quarter of the year now, but let's say at the beginning of this year, you set your goals, you have an idea of who you want to be. Okay, what you want to achieve. I want to achieve this. I want to achieve that. I want to be in this type of rooms and in that type of rooms. Then ask yourself, what kind of woman achieves the things that you want to achieve? Who do you need to become in that moment? Who is that woman? You need to find who she is. You need to find how she talks. You need to find out how she makes her decision. You need to find out how she handles criticism. You need to find out how she negotiates, how she talks about herself, the things that she no longer tolerates, and how she speaks about herself. And that is how you need to be. These are the things you need to be. Once you find out the woman that you want to be, okay, so the woman that you want to be in 2026, this is how she makes her decision. She doesn't wait for she makes decisive decision. Um, how does she handle criticism? She's not afraid of criticisms. She sees them as positive feedback, and negative ones, she just lets it roll over her head. Find out who this woman is, and that is how you become her. That is how you become her. How she behaves herself. What are her boundaries? What are her parameters? What does she tolerate? What does she tolerate? What doesn't she tolerate? How does she speak to herself? Because you cannot step into what you have not defined. So you need to define that woman. Then you can step into her and become her. Okay. What is her lifestyle like? What time does she go to bed? What time does she wake up? These are the things that you need to find out about the woman that you want to become, and then you can become her. And step 3 is normalize the next level. Normalize it. If wealth feels unsafe, your body will resist it. You cannot attract what you repel at the same time. Okay, they are two opposites. In the same way, you cannot go forward by going backwards at the same time. You have to choose, right? If wealth feels unsafe for you, your body will resist it. If visibility feels threatening to you, you will delay it. I'll do it one day. I'll do it I'll do it when this. You will delay it. You will not be visible. I'll do it when I get it right. I'll do it when I'm able to put things around perfectly. You will delay your visibility. Okay. And if influence feels intimidating to you, you will shrink. You will shrink back. When you're not meant to shrink back, you are meant to be visible. You are meant to be an influencer. You are meant to influence the people that you lead and the people in your sphere of influence, really. So you must repeatedly expose yourself to the identity of the woman you are becoming until it feels normal to you. This is deliberate self concept expansion. Okay. And let me tell you this, the most powerful woman in the room is not the loudest. You don't always have to talk. Even sometimes you can be quiet, because the most powerful woman in the room is not the loudest. She's not the most aggressive or even the most decorated. She doesn't have all the titles. The most powerful woman in the room is the woman who is most aligned, whose values are most aligned. When your identity is anchored, when your self concept is elevated, and when your self leadership is internally governed, you become unshakable. You become unshakable, you negotiate differently, you scale differently, you influence differently, and most importantly, you live differently. So it's not until you shout or you talk all the time, or you try to let everybody know that you have the answer, you are the only one who knows the answer, but you are the most aligned in the room, you will see how people will gravitate towards you. They want to hear what you have to say, because they know that you have depth to yourself. It's not just about talking, talking, talking all the time. Okay. So here's the question as we round up. We've hit our time, but here's the question I want to leave with you as we go. I want you to carry this with you. Where have I been leading from performance instead of truth? I want you to take this question with you and just reflect on it, because your next level will not be unlocked by doing more, it'll be unlocked by becoming more aligned. So, to hit your next level, go and find out these things. Where have I been leading from performance? Where have I allowed my leadership or my influence to be determined by my output or my performance? Where do they fuse? My achievements and my performance, where do they fuse? So that you can go there, you can reflect on it, and then you can begin to recalibrate. Like I said, your next level will not be unlocked by doing more. It will be unlocked by becoming more aligned. So lead from your core through, lead from your core truth, and everything else will follow. Well, I hope that you have found some value in today's broadcast. Um, I'm sorry that our guest was not able to join us today. Things happen that we didn't why we don't foresee. Things happen that we didn't plan, but when they happen, we have to grow enough to be able to handle them, as leaders that we are. Okay, I'm glad that I'm able to have this conversation with you, and I'm looking forward to meeting with you again next month. So next month, I will let you know who is going to be joining us and what the topic is going to be. And until then, lead from the core. See